the second one to the right.
Street.
Oh,
In
hush.
1.3 miles, turn right onto Baxter Avenue.
Okay.
It's all grave markers are low. Look at this. Stone here, that Feely Sphinx.
Yeah.
Peasley.
So where is Colonel Sanders at?
Let me look real quick. Where the fuck is the office?
I don't know. I kept seeing signs that said office.
They're still saying it. There's office sign.
God, look at that. That's so bad. I could explore out here all night.
Yeah. Definitely.
Look at the light, Karen.
Over here, yeah. Little creek.
This one's got like fountains and
So pretty.
I'm assuming this is their vault.
Yeah. So cool. Great loves lived on. There's a beautiful home. Look at the, yeah, that's beautiful. It's like a TV almost.
Yeah. Still going on right now.
39. Some serious eye candy here. I know there's one famous statue where it has like Jesus and a bunch of children running to him.
Yellow line. Keep going straight till you see the yellow line, and then what did he say?
I don't remember. Before it became the world's second largest fast food chain, Kentucky Fried Chicken was the brainchild of a man named Harlan Sanders. He cooked up simple country dishes at a roadside gas station. Even after his death in 1980, Sanders is still the instantly recognizable face of his company. His life story and his road to fast food fame includes a lot more than just chicken. When Harlan Sanders first began to serve meals to truck drivers at an old family dining room table wheeled into the front of his Corbin, Kentucky service station in 1930, fried chicken was not on the menu because it took too long to prepare. His country ham and steak dinners proved so popular, however, that he soon opened Sanders Cafe across the street and began to serve chicken fried in an iron skillet. Food critic Duncan Hines included the restaurant in his 1935 Road Food Guide, and it was there in 1939 that the Colonel used pressure cookers to perfect his quick frying chicken coated in his secret recipe of 11 herbs and spices. So here's a few things you may not know about the Colonel. He once wounded a business rival in a deadly shootout. Colonel Sanders, who was known to be hot-headed, never backed down from a fight, which served him well in the rough-and-tumble Hell's Half-Acre neighborhood that surrounded his Shell Oil gas station. When the future fast food giant painted advertising signs on barns for miles around, the aggressive marketing tactic stirred up Matt Stewart, who operated a nearby Standard Oil gas station. It was told that Stewart was painting over one of the Colonel's signs for a second time. Sanders rushed to the scene with two Shell executives. According to the book Colonel Sanders and the American Dream, Stewart exchanged his paintbrush for a gun and fatally shot Shell District Manager Robert Gibson. The Colonel returned fire and wounded Stewart in the shoulder. Stewart was then sentenced to 18 years in prison for murder, but charges against Colonel Sanders were dropped after his arrest. Another fact, Sanders served in the military but was an honorary colonel. So Sanders, who falsified his birth date in order to enlist in the U.S. Army, served in Cuba for several months before his honorable discharge in 1935. Kentucky Governor Ruby LaFoon issued a ceremonial decree that commissioned Sanders an honorary colonel. After a second honorary commission in 1949, Sanders embraced the title and tried to look the part by growing facial hair and starting to wear a black frock coat and a string tie. Soon after, the colonel switched to a white suit which helped hide flour stains and bleached his mustache and goatee to match his white hair. The colonel delivered babies and practiced law before hitting it big in fast food. Colonel Sanders had an extremely varied resume before finding success in the fried chicken business. As a young man, he toiled as a farmhand and a streetcar conductor before working for railroad companies across the South. He also studied law and practiced in justice of the peace courts in Arkansas until a courtroom brawl with a client derailed his legal career. He operated a steamboat ferry that crossed the Ohio River between Kentucky and Indiana as well, and he sold life insurance and automobile tires. During his time in Corbin, Sanders even delivered babies. There was nobody else to do it, he said. And the husbands couldn't afford a doctor when their wives were pregnant. Another not well-known fact about the Colonel, his first Kentucky Fried Chicken franchise was actually in Utah, Lake City to be precise. It was there in 1952 that Pete Harmon, a Sanders friend who operated one of the largest restaurants, became the Colonel's first franchisee. Another fact about the Colonel, after selling the company, the Colonel sued Kentucky Fried Chicken for $122 million. So the Colonel sold Kentucky Fried Chicken in 1964, and after a food conglomerate purchased the company in 1971, the cantankerous Colonel began to deride the chain's gravy as slop and its owners as a bunch of booze hounds. Although still the public face of the company, Sanders so disliked Kentucky Fried Chicken's food at this point that he developed plans to franchise the Colonel's Lady Dinner House restaurant, which he opened with his wife in Shelbyville, Kentucky in 1968 as a competitor. When the new owners of Kentucky Fried Chicken heard of what was going on, they threatened to block the plan, so Colonel Sanders sued for $122 million. The two sides settled out of court, with Sanders receiving $1 million and a chance to give a cooking lesson to the new executives in return for his promise to stop criticizing Kentucky Fried Chicken's food. The renamed Claudia Sanders Dinner House was allowed to remain open and is still in operation. Now I have to say, I have not eaten good Kentucky Fried Chicken in a very long time, and I thought it was just where we lived, even though I live in Kentucky. I expect it to actually be better somehow, but our KFC is horrible. And I thought at first maybe it was just a fluke because it used to be decent, but it's not a fluke. It's a consistent thing. But now that we've been traveling, we've gotten KFC a couple times, and it's just as consistently bad everywhere we go. So I have pretty much given up on it, and I'm sure the Colonel would really hate to hear that. So Colonel Sanders died December 16th, 1980 in Louisville, Kentucky. He was 90 years old, and at the time of his death, he was worth about $3.5 million. Perhaps not as much as you'd guess, considering the fact that KFC's today annual revenue tops $23 billion. Colonel Sanders died of acute leukemia. He died at the Louisville Jewish Hospital of pneumonia. Rest in peace, Colonel Sanders.
Well, it took some effort to get here, but we found him. Colonel Harlan Sanders, born near Henryville, Indiana, September 9th, 1890, founder of Kentucky Fried Chicken Empire, died Louisville, Kentucky, December 16th, 1980. His beloved wife, Claudia Ellen Sanders, born near London, Kentucky, 1902, truly the Colonel's lady and co-worker in his enterprises, died Shelbyville, Kentucky, 1996. Looks like he's got Mason symbols on there.
Uh-huh.
He's got one of them endowed things on it.
It's pretty. I like his style.
Yeah. We should have brought Popeye's chicken though to eat here.
That would have been funny.
Here comes people.
Yeah, that's probably all right. Hold on.
You think I am of the earth, earthly, but really I am like a ballet dancer, poised briefly with just the tip of one toe to the earth, but so attuned I catch the music, hear naught of anything else, and go dancing on and on. To interpret the music that I hear, God plucks the chords of the harp for my dancing, but one day I shall lift my toe from the earth, and you shall find me only in the music you hear. Then I shall be just music. Wow. Very deep. Look, we both got bright red cars.
I know, it's funny, isn't it? Right, we have both signs.
All right.
I don't even know if it's worth trying to find Muhammed Ali.
I know, right? It looked like he was closer, but still. Okay.
Look at the ones down here. There's like tons of them.
So pretty down there.
So peaceful.
Goose heaven.
It's the goosey heaven. Okay, 2. Alright, 2. Wait, no, we're going the wrong way. Okay. Sorry, people. I don't mean to get on your nerves.
So, it's officially the most confusing cemetery ever.
Twin Lakes Scattering Art.
Okay, we're in R.
We're still in R. So, we still need to go around this way, right? I think so. Okay. Twin Lakes Scattering Ground. Okay.
So it'd be straight, right?
What letter is this, right?
P. So it's that way.
I think it's that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, Lord, one way. Why? Here I'm like, oh, we got it now. We never have it. Section U. Okay, yeah, this is it. Look how creepy that is.
What does...
What?
Oh.
What is that? What is that? That is scary.
So what does Muhammad's grave look like? I wonder if maybe these were scattered too? Maybe?
These are all modern too. 2022, 2023, 2016. Interesting. Look at this over here.
Oh.
The cranes. So you need to have something beachy on yours, don't you?
Mm-hmm. Oh, look at that Lewis back there. That's
Yeah.
weird. That's different.
says father and son together forever. Michael Gene Hall and John Thomas.
So I wonder what preservation means. This one says preservation instead of endowed.
Oh, it makes me sad. He's got his little rope in his mouth.
Weird. They're wicked looking.
Yeah, these are kind of creepy, and they don't even have a marker, do they? And this is like modern art, but it's, I don't.
There's nothing on the preservation. I don't understand it.
Yeah, you could go on forever looking at these.
Yeah.
Just keep going and going.
I'm the rock in your garden and you are the flower in mine. Okay, that's just creepy. Look at the hands. They're creepy.
Yeah. He took a few cups of love. He took 1 tablespoon of patience, 1 teaspoon of generosity, 1 pint of kindness. He took 1 quart of laughter, 1 pinch of concern, and then he mixed willingness with happiness. He added lots of faith and he stirred it up well. Then he spread it over a span of a lifetime and he served it to each and every person he met. That's pretty cool. Really is a beautiful place. We'll have to.
We definitely need to come and
Yeah.
spend like a legit day or two out here.
Yeah. It's really neat.
My hydrangeas have not bloomed that much yet. I mean, they're ready to bloom.
They're huge.
But they've not sprung out that much yet.
Look at these hydrangeas. So pretty.
Like this grass? Am I not supposed to be on it?
Let's see what.
I guess so. Yeah, we're not supposed to be on this.